point and click. So we'll see what they opt to go for here. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Leona pickup, but the problem is Leona a lot more skill shot based, a lot more countered by cleanse. So instead they opt to go for the Lee Sin early priority, wait a little bit longer before committing with the support pick. And Xiaohao, I mean, he was so good on that Lee Sin.
He really was, and didn't never let Leyan breathe for a moment. It felt like he was everywhere. As we were saying, there seemed to be multiples of him on the map. And so far, Anyone's Legend just fine running it back in game number 2. But this time, Yuumi was not banned in the second phase. So it is picked up in the first phase by RA, and they get that big combo of the Zeri Yuumi.
And, you know, this is an interesting one because they're toying with the idea of the Jarvan. And the positive of the Jarvan is it's great to the Jinx, right? Mobile champion, can lock it down. But here, the Thresh can be picked up by Anyone's Legend, and so they end up not going for it. They go for the Ryze instead. Obviously, we saw Strive not had quite the impact we necessarily wanted in that last one, but definitely still potential to set up for that bot lane. Anyone's Legend talked about the Leona already. Jojo, we want him on the happy side, right? I know there's an enchanter on the other team, but we don't want to delve into the sad side.
Just stay with what you know. All right, the Leona's locked in. We're on the sunny side right now for Anyone's Legend. But going into the second phase, that opens things up a little bit as we still have solo lane focus for Anyone's Legend. And on the other side, we have one solo lane, but still got to figure out what the jungle can be. And that Jarvan still standing out to me as it is banned away by Anyone's Legend.
Yeah, now you committed the Leona, you can't threaten the Thresh as an answer. I think you have to ban the Jarvan. Viego is probably going to be Anyone Legend's second ban away. It's the big 4 junglers right now. On the other side of Rare Adam, though, I feel like they can look to target mid, they can look to target top, they have options. Gwen is something that we spoke about before that was banned in the last rotation that was problematic. Maybe they banned the Camille, actually. I wouldn't be against that because Camille, we saw ZDZ have a perfectly fine laner phase, but also, right, you have a Zeri Yuumi. This is all movement speed. This is max speed zooming around the rift. If you have tools that can just lock you down, like the Hextech Ultimatum, it's going to make things difficult for iBoy. So I wouldn't actually be against a Camille ban here, honestly, and especially when they telegraph it with a Renekton ban. I think it makes a lot of sense.
You know, at this point, now that you're putting machinations in my head, I want to see it. I want to see how fast Zeri can go around in circles in the Hextech Ultimatum when she's ulted. I think that'd be absolutely hilarious. We could do that here in the LPL, right? But it is still going to be banned away by RA. They are smart. They are big brain, just like you, Ox. And we have that top lane focus for a majority. They're actually the final 2 bans in the second phase. But now it's up to Anyone's Legend to pick their 4th pickup. Still have the counter pick as the 5th pick. But here it looks like they're going to focus the mid lane and get the LeBlanc.
Yeah, a lot of power in this mid jungle duo. Lee Sin, LeBlanc is one of these tried and tested competitive duos that you use to apply the pressure. You have the setup from the LeBlanc. They're both very mobile. Once they're rooted, you can land the Q from the Lee Sin. So very threatening to Strive. And actually, we're looking at Leyan. He's played a lot of Rek'Sai so far this play. I think it's actually his most played.
Go.
We'll lock it in. And I love this, right? There's 2 aspects. 1, great into Lee Sin, but 2, actually pretty solid to pair up with Yuumi, right? Chase people down with the movement speed, get on top of them quite easily. In the top lane, Cube's just going to go for what he had last game. That safe Graves, which is comfortable to blind pick. Anyone's Legend are toying with the idea of what they're going to match up into it, but ultimately I think regardless of what comes out for ZDZ, the clear condition for me already is that you need to win this mid jungle and hard, right? You're dealing with the Yuumi and a Zeri in the bot lane. Max speed movements going to be a bit painful. You don't have the same tools to pin down the Zeri, and I think if the lane, if they start to move this Ryze down bot lane to snowball iBoy, Anyone's Legend are going to have a bad time.
Yeah, and I want to iterate a couple things for Rare Adam, right, in terms of their performance from game number 1. Cube, got to see a night and day performance from him going into the second game, right? The transitions, the movement around the map, that kind of stuff, because the Graves can be strong, right? And especially supporting this style of composition that they have. Even with the Yuumi paired up, Graves can be very strong. But you've got to have stability in the lanes, I feel like, to make sure Leyan, who finally gets the Rek'Sai, who finally is able to find a little bit of comfort in this game, get something going, has that stability around him. And so I do feel like RA have set themselves up worlds better in this second game than they did in game number 1. And it's feeling like a resurgence, at least.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at iBoy, right? iBoy hasn't had the most standout performances so far this season, right? There's been a lot of hype over him in the past, but I don't think he's exactly been stellar, especially when he's going up against Betty. But you have been given the tools, right? The ban priority in this was trying to limit the options the enemy team had to shut you down, right? The Camille and the Nautilus are no longer there. You have a Yuumi with you as well, right? This is where we should see maximum Zeri output, and it's on iBoy to make it happen.
All the chips in the Zeri bag here. It is all up to RA to make this a 3-game series here. Anyone's Legend want to continue the momentum from game number 1, going without dying in this series so far. We'll see if RA can extend that series, make us have a long night, or if AL will shut them down, plain and simple. Here we go. Game number 2 starts now.
Who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think is going to be the first one from AL to die this series?
I think that's, I hope that it's an internal conversation. We do
That's
see
the
a little
thing,
bit
right?
of early cheese.
Whoever does, they're the first enter. They're the ones that get flamed.
They get the trophy.
I think it's tricky. It's tricky. But I think ultimately, I am watching this mid jungle. I think this is a very volatile mid jungle. I give AL the advantage level 3, right? Although honestly, given that like Rek'Sai is pretty strong at that point, but I think if you can punish the Ryze, that's what I'm looking for. AL want to punish the Ryze, whereas RA are a bit more comfortable when it's a 2v2 because obviously the Rek'Sai knockup can interrupt.
All right, so they have the ward there, but this is a solo start right now for Leyan. And I don't think they can sneak around the edge there. Yeah, they're spotted out on the way in, and he's going to have to get away from this one.
He's dipping.
You have to, but this is such heads-up play from anyone's Legend. They're committing literally everyone on the bot side of the map, but it could end up in a spicy predicament.
Yeah, I mean, Yuumi is pretty useless level 1, right? And I think the power of the Leona as well, to be able to walk in, stun anyone, it's on a 5-second cooldown early.
Betty just
Alright,
walks
you're gonna
up.
trade a fair bit. You always gotta be careful in those situations where you're cheesing that brush, because Xiaohao can just walk down with the red buff and being level 2. But they do back away soon enough, and now this is not gonna be fun for anyone's Legend, right? Because one of the big annoying things about Yuumi is she's got sustain, she's got poke, and you may be thinking, well, that's fine, you just all in her. But the problem is Yuumi gives the bot lane triple combat summoners, right? When you look across it, they have cleanse, ignite, and exhaust. So if you go in and overcommit for an all-in when they have all those summoners, there's actually a decent chance you lose out, right, in the extended trade. If Betty gets exhausted, that's why Yuumi is so annoying, because you want to just dive in, but that's not always possible. And QiuQiu, we're getting chunked out. Bit of a preemptive ignite there coming out from Leyan. And honestly, AL, you've been a summoner already, so I think you'll be happy with that.
See if they can respond with Xiaohao still down here. You know, when you put pressure like this, you're gonna get visited by the big mean jungle. And iBoy, oh no, he steps up the last second. He's gonna have to flash. Is it enough? He gets over the wall, but he didn't have you. Gotcha! No! Oh, that's such unfortunate miscoordination and first blood to AL yet again. And they're gonna get iBoy again. No way. Xiaohao's back down here. He's like, oh, if you're gonna just give us the cake, we'll go ahead and eat it too. Betty picks up his own.
Absolute disaster coming now. iBoy seemingly forgot something when he jumped over that wall. Wonders what he's missing when he sees Yuumi just getting crucified here.
We gotta see that again.
Yeah, so I think what happens is you see Yuanja jump out to try and get the shield, or potentially block this. No, I think it's blocking the Sonic Wave, right?
He got stunned as he was going. He was going to connect.
Yeah.
He had the range there, but the stun came out from QiuQiu. Oh,
yeah, I think the thought process there was, if I block the Sonic Wave, it's going to mean iBoy survives, but the coordination just wasn't there. And then iBoy, because of the wave state, instantly walks up and goes down. And honestly, it's just credit to AL, because they ensured that Leyan could not be here. They made sure by invading, he had to go towards the top side. They split the map. And splitting the map against the Yuumi is so scary, because, you know, as much as I said, the triple summoners, combat summoners can help in terms of a 2v2, when it's a 3v3, you just don't offer enough, right? The engage comes in, they have the damage. You can only exhaust one person. There's plenty of damage coming out from them. So really nice capitalization from anyone's Legend. And I want to see this continued, right? No cleanse for iBoy now, no flash. Keep it going.
Yeah, and definitely looking for it. I just am so taken aback by the level of thought and thinking and mechanics here already in the early game of this second game by anyone's legend. The fact that, like you said, they have dissected this game from minute one, seemingly.
Yeah, they start early, and you have to, right? When you have lanes like this, they're going to be a pain point for your team. You want to find it early on. And also, you know, we had the happy side from QiuQiu again on the Leona. He doesn't really care as long as it can go in, as long as it can engage. He will find those opportunities now. Still have a situation where RA are pushing AL in, and it's kind of going to be like that, right? When you have the poke coming out from the Yuumi, a lot of pushing power available to that Zeri, especially if he uses the E. We'll see if a gank window can come through. Leyan is on the bot side this time, though, so it could be a bit scary.
Zenith Blade did connect, but iBoy out of there quickly with the hop, skip, and jump. Xiaohao is here. Leyan has not seen him just yet, as he'll just start moving the control ward over the wall, though. Zenith Blade barely does not connect on iBoy. Finally, one of these max range ones don't connect.
Yeah, we see Xiaohao spotted with a Tremor Sense. Leyan's been able to build up a decent CS lead, kind of typical from what we've seen from him, is getting a bit of a farm advantage. But ultimately, it's quite hard for QiuQiu to set up on the Zeri, right? All you need to do is just position next to the wall, and you can easily jump over.
And I love seeing Strive start to move down there, right? Level 6s have been accrued by most of these lanes, if not just the solo lanes, right? But that Realm Warp, still crucial to getting in the action with Leyan. That's still the main point here for RA. That mid-jungle duo that we've been highlighting the second game. Another Zenith Blade connects, and this time Yuya just caught out again! You just can't have that happen 2 times in a game this early! Betty gets his second kill. Meanwhile, CDZ's going all in on keeping the top. It's a little bit more rough, but Leyan has made his face shown in bot lane and did respond, as it is unfortunate for QiuQiu. He's the first one to die for AL in this series.
He's the one running it down, right? The first one to die in this whole series in game 2. But ultimately, I think anyone searching could be fairly happy that, right? The situation here is they trade 1 for 1, but RA had to commit the Realm Warp and a big time investment. And Yuanja, I mean, you can't be slacking like this. The Zenith Blade roots very quickly, not much response time. The traps come out as well. iBoy, not available right now, but he's the one with cleanse. He's the one with the dash. He's the one a bit more safety. You can't really afford that. And Betty does get the flash out here. But again, you're trading 1 for 1, and you committed the Realm Warp. This is a big tool for RA you've used, and it was just to trade evenly. And if you look at kills, Betty has now got 2 kills in pocket.
That's what I was just about to say. It's like, do you remember last game when Betty got a couple kills and was just dumpstering people? Well, he's got 2 more this time around, and it's looking a lot of the same story if AL can continue to bolster up this AD carry of theirs. But that's the next question for me. Where do we see Xiaohao going? We already got pings going towards the bot side of the map. The dragon is on the table. Looks like AL might want to just continue pushing the pressure in bot lane, because iBoy will continue to get priority in this lane.
I think that's the thing, is that if you can apply enough pressure bot and move QiuQiu mid, you can look to punish the Ryze. But for now, it feels like AL are kind of struggling to get any windows where QiuQiu can move. It's been very much this bot focus. But the thing is, at the moment, Realm Warp's not available, so you're not really too concerned about the threat of this Ryze moving down for the time being. Leyan is going to try and establish some control in the bot side river, and potentially set up just a regular old roam, right? If Strive can move into the fog of war, doesn't even necessarily have to go all the way bot lane, but it poses threat to QiuQiu and Betty.
Now that jungle have their level 6 mark, we'll see if they want to engage. Oh, no, Strive. Okay, Leyan was right there at the cross. Gonna say, when is he going to pull the trigger to come help his mid laner? But it will just be a 2v2 going down.
And that's the power of this duo, right? The LeBlanc lines the chains. You're so scared of the Lee Sin connecting the Sonic Wave, especially when he's ult available. They burn the flash from Strive. They are looking to move up towards the top side, but no Realm Warp, right? And already Forge and Xiaohao are matching, so I don't think you're going to be able to get a dive off here. It is going to allow Q to pressure out in the top lane. Oh,
Leyan gets connected onto. The chain is going to connect as well. Damage on the Forge, but Xiaohao gets his second kill of the game. And again, things just don't work out for RA. That's Rift Herald started up by anyone's legend.
The root connects, and Leyan doesn't even get a chance to pop his ultimate to buy time. Just bursted out by Xiaohao. Now, QiuQiu and Strive are looking to contest this one, but it will be a 3v2 for the time being. ZDZ is walking down. I think they just have to back away.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they want to step any far forward as Xiaohao will secure that one. Man, This jungle for anyone's legend is impressing. Xiaohao is quickly rising up in my aggressive jungle list here because he is looking oh so clean, and especially with the rest of the team backing him up in those early decision making.
Yeah, and especially Leyan, who normally likes to find an individual advantage in a jungle matchup, right? Had a farm lead early when Xiaohao was going for the ganks. Xiaohao's managed to make that back up at 2-0-1. This Lee Sin very relevant at the moment, and we can kind of see how this plays out. So Leyan spots them, you know, but they jump in with the blaster cone, and the root starts to connect. And now, rooted, kicked, bursted. No chance to pop the ultimate. No opportunity to buy time with the execute. And honestly, if he had got the ult up, probably could have killed Forge.
Probably could have, yeah. The chase down at this point for AL is really scary. The strong point still is this bot lane, though. iBoy on this Zeri. They just got to get the resources into him. They've got to find a way to get him a couple kills down here and counter what Petty is bringing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that last game I was very concerned about how the team fights operated. The shutdown for iBoy meant their biggest scaling element was, you know, muted a bit. But here, that's not there. So as long as iBoy is farming up, I still think he's going to be relevant, and he should be with the Yuumi on his back. But yeah, Betty having the 2 kills in pocket, meaning he's up 300 gold. Not the greatest situation to be in. Now, Dragon has been started up. AL are kind of moved out of contest, but I think they're a bit too late.
No, okay. I was going to say, if Xiaohao wants to get that, he can go in. Leyan goes over the wall there. Chain still connects. Realm Warp. Is it enough to get him out? It is. Woo!
I thought the kick would have stopped that. I thought for sure they wouldn't have been able to get away. I guess Strive must have not been knocked up in that situation, but it was so close. Obviously, the Ryze gets CC, the Realm Warp doesn't go through. I think that was Xiaohao's plan there, so hopefully we get a replay of that when you see how it went down. But regardless, AL just not quite able to catch them out on this. One of the big concerns against this RA lineup is with the Zeri and the Rek'Sai. Very easy to get over walls in a pinch.
Leyan really wants to get ZDZ up here on the Jax. They get the gank off as well as the knockup. The Ward Hop plus Flash is enough collateral damage, but the Void Rush seals the deal, and Leyan gets the kill.
Good gang coming out from Leyan. ZDZ keeps trying to find these windows to fight, and as a result of that scenario, I don't think he had his counter-strike available. And the thing is, Cube has silently just been pulling massively ahead in this matchup, right? If you look, 30 CS lead, just got that assist as well, and getting some plates. So, RA do have another win condition, and they are keeping the gold even for now.
The Strive getting the bad end of a gank. Oh, Sonic Wave does not connect. And Strive turns around.
Yeah, keeping himself safe in the tower, has the phase rush just to navigate that one, and ultimately, no kick from Xiaohao, no Sonic Wave connecting, not really able to go for that one.
QiuQiu and Betty actually taking some time to press up the lane down here. Actually, they might get a plate down there as well for Betty, as the reset had to come out from iBoy and Yanja. It is Trinity Force completed for iBoy though, so nice little power spike.
Yeah, definitely a pretty strong one in terms of dealing damage in these skirmishes.
It's 2 plates for Betty though. Oh,
a lot of extra gold, right? Almost 1,000 gold ahead now between these bot laners, and this is in the vicinity, so I think AL's bot lane just have to back away now. Can't stay for the last plate. But if you look, how with the Herald, a Herald will just finish that turret off. And I think putting gold into the Betty basket absolutely the right call.
That's terrifying. It's like watching a horror movie unfold in front of you. Xiaohao not gonna go for that Sonic Wave here, but the Rift Herald is spawned, and this is an easy tower delivered, and first tower to anyone's legend.
Good amount of gold, but Jinx now almost 1,500 gold ahead compared to iBoy. Definitely gonna pay off in the later stages. Leon and Strive trying to move towards the top side, steal away some camps, get a bit of an advantage there. Plenty threatens VDZ, but that's the power of the Herald, right? That tower take, that first tower pickup, definitely going to be an advantage. Now, the lean is coming top side from RA. This is a slow answer though, right? So they should still be able to get the tower, but AL are coming back from the base, and you can see Forge essentially toying with the idea of moving over, but I think this tower is perhaps just a bit too low.
Not gonna survive for much longer. The final shot comes in for Cube, and RA get their first tower of the game towards the top side and continue to bolster that lead for Cube, who has started the Hull Breaker yet again, going into the Shield Bow for the 2nd time in a row.
Yeah, and I don't mind it as much here, right? My concern last time was he was building a Hull Breaker when he was playing against a champion that has a Cho'Gath ult on a 3-second cooldown, right? The resistance is pretty meaningless, but here at least, you know that Jax is a lot more strength in the side lane than he does necessarily in team fights. You're already having a great time in the laning phase. I think it makes a lot more sense here than it did in that game one. So overall positives for RA, right? With the Red Frost coming through for the Ryze, the Prowler's Claw with the Rek'Sai. And honestly, this item in terms of synergies, I feel like it's one of the most synergistic things is having the Prowlers on Rek'Sai. The fact that you can use it while burrowed to like extend your knockup range, it is super powerful. And something I talked about earlier in the draft phase, Rek'Sai Yuumi is actually a pretty strong pairing to move around, right? You have all the mobility of the Rek'Sai to get in, and you have the power of the Yuumi that you can deliver.
It feels like Yuumi fits well with all of these champions, and that's why I actually feel like the RA draft came out really, really nice. But you see the automatic transition where RA want to put their gold, right? Leyan is constantly hovering this top side of the map, constantly hovering Q, because they know that this is where their lead lies. iBoy will have to come online later.
Yeah, and you know, he will have the potential to carry in the late stages, but it's still up against the Jinx. The range can still be an issue. If Betty is just chunking you out with these autos, as I say, I'm gonna fight Leyan already.
Talk about chunking out, yeah. Leyan out of health bar there, about half health now as they continue to do the Ripped Herald. Anyone's Legend are here, and they want to contest over this. Cube on the side, though, has the flank, and there's no way that ZDZ can come join the fight, so it's an easy pickup for RA.
Yeah, they were toying with the idea, they were threatening, but ultimately, when you don't have your Jax there, you're not going to take that 5v5. And I think RA were aware of that. Despite the poke, they felt comfortable. And on top of that, you have the sustain for the Yuumi, right? So it's not too much of a concern.
Was not. Betty is concerned with the dragon here, though, as Anyone's Legend trying to pick up their first dragon of the game. Okay, Hextech dragon. A little bit of benefits there, but we'll see the lane swaps and reallocation of resources here coming up for AL. Oh, did I lose my co-caster? As we see RA pushing in the mid lane again.
Sorry, I'm here. I just had a bit of a cough.
Don't want you. I want to make sure you do it okay, buddy. I want to make sure you do it okay. Ripped Herald.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Mid lane though. All right. Is it gonna get it? Okay. Xiaohao playing a little aggressive here. Oh, it doesn't even get the charge off. Oh no! And now Leyan. Leyan's just dead. Oh no! The miscommunication strikes again. And Anyone's Legend take full advantage of it. Strive in some trouble here too. But it's a 4v4 in the mid lane. Solar Flare comes down. Is it even? Jojo goes in with that engage. The lightning has crashed, but iBoy can't connect the damage just yet.
Jojo getting a little bit too happy there, right? With the Leona engage. There's a big solar flare landing on a lot of members, but ultimately they just didn't have the tools to follow up, right? Betty out of mana, low on health, a dangerous scenario to get close to, especially with Cube there when ZDZ isn't, so they back away. But they got that pick on Leyan. They can't complain about that one. And they do end up burning, you know, the cleanse from iBoy may pay off later down the line.
A little replay of that shenanigans in the mid lane. One thing that is starting to shine through for iBoy, though, is the kiting, is the mobility, and some of the damage coming down. When he popped that lightning craft, not too shabby. Here, just miscommunication from RA. The Realm Warp maybe baiting out a little bit, but Leyan just caught with his hands in the cookie jar.
It was a good response from AL, right? A very quick collapse to come in that situation. Because I think if ZDZ wasn't there, they might have been a lot more comfortable to go for that play, but the Jax moving, being ready for the Herald throwdown. And the fact that they don't even get the mid lane tier 1 is pretty rough overall, all things considered.
Cube still racking up points here in the side lanes, though, as he's looking to take the second tower of the game for RA, as AL have put all their resources in mid lane, keeping Betty stacked up, keeping that minion farm constant for him. And Cube does make good on that side lane promise.
And that's the thing, at the moment, Hullbreaker in hand, this Graves is a bit of a problem for ZDZ to deal with, has a pretty substantial CS lead. But on the other side, Forge is going to continue applying pressure on the LeBlanc, so it'll end up just being a trade off towers.
Going on, still RA in a much better spot than they were in game number 1. Feels like that's a long haul away, but we do have iBoy now centered place in the mid lane. And this is where I want to look at Anyone's Legend a little bit more, right? One of the overarching factors we have had for Anyone's Legend is the fact that they are a little rough at playing side lanes, and especially mechanically playing those out well in a macro sense. But here, this is going to be an opportunity for them to prove us, right? They have the LeBlanc in the side lane. They have the Jax in the side lane, and how they play around that. I don't want to see none of the ARAM mids going down here, as Leyan Walking into Xiaohao. They do not have a tower here. TP is committed. The fight's going to continue. Final chapter utilized during the Void Rush, and it's already Xiaohao down. ZDZ is here in Forge, but it's a 4v2 as the rest of AL are trying to get here. They need to buy time for Betty to get here, for the damage to get here. And Forge is going to be the backline here as ZDZ gets the double knockup. Betty is already excited, and they've got to run away because the lightning has crashed. But the nice blade chompers connect on iBoy, and he cannot catch up. Oh no! Jojo commits his life and dies. The flash zap is going to be enough to get Betty out.
Yeah, there's a big stun from ZDZ, but it's not enough. And the chase down with his Zeri Yuumi is so threatening. Ultimately, RA in just a much better spot there. AL commit members, they're just not able to, they lose their jungler so early on. They lose this Lee Sin, and then they don't have the members available to turn this one around. You saw ZDZ and Forge basically trapped in that scenario. It's not a good way to start the fight. And despite the fact that they get that reset, can't follow through. So look at the replay. And yeah, it's just a little bit over ambitious here because yes, you can TP your top laner in, but so can RA. And RA have to support their first. The lockdown on the Lee Sin just instantly kills him. And then we see the extended play, right? ZDZ's ult timing out. And he does get this big stun coming in, but this is kind of like everything ZDZ has to offer. And yes, they get this snap kill onto the end, but after that, it's like you have the Yuumi still available. You have iBoy with the ult starting to ramp up. Makes it very scary to go up against.
Yeah, they just have a lot of mobility and quick mobility as well on top of it all. So
Pretty boys.
stuff. Yeah, I was gonna say. iBoy looking scarier and scarier on this Zeri, and they don't have the Camille to lock him down this time around. And it's starting to come alive for RA in the second game.
They just don't have that guaranteed lockdown. And the main thing that they have is the Lee Sin kick, right? If you get in a melee range off iBoy by flashing, by ward hopping, and
they
then
just
kick,
flash over the wall for it. Solar flare. Oh, beautifully timed. And there you go. Strive is back into the tower. Oh my God, AL! You're just dying. This is tragedy, but in the other sense of the word, as Strive is going, and that's a double kill for Cube, whose lead just continues to grow exponentially. That was a mess up by AL, and this could just be the Baron for RA.
yeah, I think AL completely underestimated how tanky Ryze is with the Thimble Winter. He just survived so much damage, turned it around. The Graves is there for the AoE, and that's Baron. That is just Baron in a nutshell. RA, after that disastrous game one, not a single kill, now taking a pretty domineering lead in this game two.
That's where coming off that game one, you're like, just a couple things going the right way would have made it such a different story.
Man.
But look at this move from Strive.
I mean, yeah, the AoE comes out, he's so tanky, and obviously Graves as well, offering a huge amount of damage there. Able to run away in that situation, but it was very close to being even worse. But at the end of the day, RA, they get the Baron, sorry. They have Baron on Cube as well, and when he's already causing issues in the side lane with this Hull Breaker, it's even more of a problem for the enemy team.
And I guess the question is now, is Betty going to be enough to carry this team? He's still 3-0, but it's every other piece from RA getting stronger that makes it scarier and scarier. And he's going to have to put on the carry pants again this time around if they want to come out on top.
Absolutely. 3-0-2 still, right? There's still, that's the silver lining in this situation, but you know, they need to find the right scenarios. They're looking at ZDZ.
He's just dead outright. Oh, collateral damage not enough to get him. He's barely out with his health bar. Meanwhile, the tower presence is starting to dwindle a little bit as tower number 2 in the bot side goes down to RA.
I respect the restraint from Leyan. I would have hit ultimate there. Absolutely, without a doubt. Probably would have been a bad play, but he definitely would have got the kill. Takes a restraint play though, picks up that tier 2, a lot of extra gold in the pocket, and now they can move towards iBoy in the mid lane, look to secure this tier 2 mid. Minions buffed up, and AL, they just don't really have that great a wave clear. It's kind of only really the Jinx. Maybe a little bit over-ambitious with that ult from the Yuumi, yeah. Not really the final chapter, probably like chapter 3 at this point, a bit early. But will just threaten Forge enough to make him back away.
Random question here. When are we going to start saying this is the blue build for Ryze? Because everything is blue almost in the inventory of Strive right now. Just saying. I missed the days when blue build Ezreal was there.
True.
But talking about that point a little bit more, and you've been kind of mentioning it, been tiptoeing around the fact, these health bars are thick for RA. And it's getting harder and harder for like the LeBlanc to really find damage, for the Jax to really find damage in the team fights. And that's what's getting so terrifying when you're approaching these big, you know, bolstered team fights in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that Ryze gets extra max mana from his passive. So he's building a ton of mana items, right? He has Everfrost, which gives mana. Obviously, Fimbulwinter gives mana. Obviously, Frozen Heart also gives mana. So all this mana is like converted to HP because of Fimbulwinter. So he's just so tanky. And the problem is you have that. You have the Shield Bow on the Graves with the Hullbreaker. Zeri is actually very tanky with Triforce and Titanic giving a lot of health.
Yeah.
Like, when you have a champion that relies on resets, you know, Betty on the Jinx, it's kind of hard to get resets when everyone's like built like a fridge.
Yeah, and I will say also, the Edge of Night already getting so much value, it feels like, for Leyan as well. He's able to step up and not feel too worried about the initial poke coming in, where that is the strength of anyone's legend. As we see RA on this top side of the map, this is another tier 2 that could possibly go down. Anyone's legend, do not want to let that happen. A little bit of shielding on his EDZ. The tower is still alive, though, and we do have the clear from Betty. Oh no, iBoy just steals it right from under their noses, Aux.
Yep, it's just so hard to do anything, right? I mean, it's such a different, it's night and day difference between these two games. I know AL had such an advantage in game 1, but I feel like the fact that they have the Zeri Yuumi with no real good answer to it, we're kind of seeing just how frustrating this champion is. The fact that you're basically a tanky AD carry who does tons of damage, and you get like Talon E to be able to jump over walls. Yeah. Like, we all know how hard it is to kill a Talon. It's just painful.
Dragon up now. Second dragon of the Infernal Soul would be AL's second dragon against Spirit, but RA want to go ahead and knock in that soul point dragon for themselves. They're bringing bodies here. DDZ commits the TP now, a little bit earlier from the fight, but here they come. Realm Warp is not going to be utilized, but there's the final chapter, and the CC is there. Chocho's getting in some trouble here. Now Betty's the focus on the back. You've got to peel for Betty. Betty is excited now, but you've got to watch for iBoy as well. The 80s, the dueling battles. Cube is still here, gets the Scuttle Crab. iBoy going ham, but it's still an uneven fight. They've already lost 2 members, but look how confident iBoy is. They go all in on him. iBoy is taken down, and Betty is still alive. He gets taken out by Cube as well. CDZ gets the stun, and anyone's legend come away with the ace.
I cannot believe they got that one. They just had such good target selection in that fight. iBoy looked primed, in position to carry. It was an extended fight when you have a Yuumi with Moonstone. Everything was adding up for that to be an RA win, but the target selection, the in and out, the damage distribution. Notice everyone on AL was low HP. Everyone had soaked a fair bit of damage, but in the end, they barely lose any members. We gotta look at
this again. This is like, this fight's everywhere.
Absolutely. It's a slow start, right? Initially, we see Chocho just getting absolutely burst out, but Leyan gets exploded. Strive, overconfident with his bulky stats, and then here, it's scary, right? iBoy basically full HP, Yuumi still alive. Everyone's quite low on anyone's legend, but it's just picking these opportunities, right? ZZZ jumps in, last second with the flash, forces the cleanse. They all commit to iBoy. Yep. It's Xiaohao who gets the Sonic Wave, and with the Zeri dead, they feel like they can clean up the fight, right? Yuumi is split off, isn't offering anything alone, and they manage to find the damage to finish off the Graves. Just such good execution. They were so far behind going into that fight, and they managed to make it work.
Absolutely. It's the lockdown. Look at that damage from Betty. It is the target selection that reigns king, and now Betty is doing some serious work on 3.5 items. This could just be a Baron turret if they want to, but they want to force the fight over here as well onto Strive and the rest of RA in the mid lane. The thing that scares me is iBoy was set up perfectly to have a game-breaking moment, but the damage is just not there with the Zeri. You have to continuously put shots, and when you can turn around like that, AL looks so scary. Here comes the Baron for anyone's legend. RRA able to do anything about it. Leyan on the side, 5,000 health. They just want to go for the fight. They turn. Betty is still in the backline, not touched again and again and again. iBoy is trying to make something happen here. They are grouped up, but the lightning crash is going to fade soon, and you will not have the AoE. Forge on the side with full health here. AL just still want to force RA to the fight.
Yeah, they're ready for it, right? They're trying to let iBoy's ult time out so he doesn't have that massive tool available. They're ready to go for this one.
iBoy going into the pit now. He's just ebb and flowing back and forth. There's no Nami in this game, but it's RA trying to make something happen. Chocho very, very low, but the Baron goes down. Leyan misses the smite. Is he going to die anyways? Look at iBoy. No! It's all doomed, and AL will finally find their placehold in this game, and RA are dusted.
Massive comeback for AL, and they do everything right. We were saying, you get the late stages, if Betty isn't behind, Betty will pop off, and he absolutely is on this Jinx. Feels untouchable right now. And honestly, I'm going to give credit to ZDZ, right? We said didn't have many tools to deal with his Zeri. He is becoming such a problem because if he starts channeling the counter-strike, iBoy has to back away. You can't auto-attack him, right? Similar to like Xin Zhao, just making it so you have to just essentially respect the fact you can't do anything. But whenever that counter-strike is up, you have to back off. And honestly, Betty getting so many critical autos here. Like there on the Leyan, hits iBoy, gets him low. Leyan goes in for the steal, but now Cube tries to burst Betty, but watch. Xiaohao comes in, body blocks the auto, the resets come out. Betty able to deliver. AL are playing out of their minds right now in these team fights.
Betty going from 3-0, got killed, now 8-1, 4 items completed. This guy is untouchable. There is an invisible armor around the Jinx when Betty is piloting the champion. He's now level 16, and it just feels like sky is the limit for the Legends.
And as well, Stopwatch now picked up the 3 members of AL. A lot of team fighting power there. And on top of that, he had this in the last fight. But the Lord Dominic, so much value here. Everyone on the enemy team, apart from the Rek'Sai, well, I mean, guess not the Yuumi, but like the Zeri, the Ryze, the Graves, all have quite a bit of HP that you're able to shred down with that Giant Slayer passive. So Betty doing monstrous amounts of damage right now.
What iBoy can do, just get over final chapter. Just miscommunication that seems like between iBoy and Yanja in this game, specifically with the final chapters coming out. But this bot lane play, maybe RA want to go for it. ZDZ turning it back around in a 2v1. And he's got the rest of the team coming down here, so RA have to run away.
This is a 4-item Graves and a 2.5-item ZDZ. But that's Jax, right? You get to that stage of the game, you have the counter-strike, very hard to deal with. And iBoy super scared right now. Forge.
Trouble here. Cube actually putting in some work there. TP now coming in from ZDZ as they take the inhib tower. Now the inhib is the focus, and it's just a 5v5 meatball comp coming out here from AL, even though they found such success. And now the inhib falls too. They're turning their attention to bot lane.
They are making things happen right now with the Baron. Trying to get as much progress as possible.
This gold swing is insane. We're already at like a 5,000 gold swing, and they're still going. Forge is still going into the base right now. They're still looking for another inhib.
That's the thing. At this point, Tank Ryze falling off, not doing that much damage, and Betty has the range advantage once more, just able to hammer away at these towers. What can they do?
And he's going to get excited as well. And off the back of that, they're just going to snowball this big final chapter coming out from Yanja, though. ZDZ goes golden. It's on the back line, though. Oh, no. Strive can't get it done. Can iBoy, though? This is the moment to shine. This is iBoy's chance. And he does it. iBoy and Cube. They get the ace on the return.
The disrespect from anyone's legend, man. It's Zeri, Yuumi. At this point of the game, they go too far forward. They disrespect. They don't have the tools. They don't have the help. The AoE comes out. And now there's long death timers. We'll see if RA can actually close this out. I think they're going for the end here and now. iBoy able to make it across the map very quick. And already the TP committed by the Graves. 25 seconds on the carries for AL. This might just be a reverse throw. This might just be the game over.
It might be. They got a lot of damage here. You still have time for Chocho. The towers are burning, though, and Q putting in work. This is an RA miraculous comeback. They were so close to losing it, and we're going to go the distance for our first series of the night, baby. Wouldn't have it any other way. RA win game number 2.
What is that passage of play, right? AL. Such good team fighting. Bring it back. A 5k gold swing on the Baron. And then they just get annihilated. And the disrespect for this Zeri. The low health bars around their base. The fact that they didn't have any tools left available to deal with her. And then iBoy just pops up. That was nearly